Hello and welcome to another episode of Corgi Town, USA. I am Candy. In my lap is Chuckles.
Hi, I'm Catherine, and somewhere is Digby.
And Indy.
And Indy, we brought Indy today, a new honorary Corgi. We'll talk about him a little bit later on. He is a foster, and he is a Great Pyrenees and he's Great Pyrenees and what else?
I don't know. You're asking me. He's your rescue.
He's my rescue. He's 15 and a half years old. And Labrador, Great Pyrenees and Labrador, sweet, sweet dog, sheds more than a Corgi, if you can believe it.
I don't believe it.
Yep.
But we also have Mortimer, Barnabas, and Booker.
We do.
So the whole Corgi committee's here. If you're new here, hi, welcome. We are a podcast about dog and Corgi lifestyle for pets and their parents, and we talk about all kinds of things. We have a creator series where we focus on creators that create Corgi type art or dog type art in different mediums.
And there goes the camera.
We lose equipment quite a bit on the show because we have frapping Corgis in the studio.
That's true.
So if that happens, don't worry. We'll be right back. We'll come right back. Thanks for sticking with us. This is season 5.
This is season 5. Unbelievable.
Yeah. And we're going to dig in and get a little dirtier again, more. So
why not?
Yeah. So tell everybody about our guest.
So our guest is Matthew Monsour. I recently met him through, another friend, networking and all that stuff. And so Matthew owns Aqua Crossings. Aqua Crossings, I'll let him talk a little bit more about it, but Aqua Crossings is an environmentally friendly way of an alternative to cremation. Should
we bring him on and have him educate us?
Yes.
Okay. Everyone, please welcome Matthew Monsour. Welcome.
Hi, guys. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. I love your hat.
Oh, yeah, you've got a great hat.
Thank you.
Well, thanks for taking the time to join us. We love to just kind of get started here. Can you give us sort of a brief description of what this is? Aquamation.
Yes. So Aquamation is an alternative to fire-based cremation that really mimics what would take place in nature with a burial. So we think about when you bury a pet or a person, it's water that permeates through the ground and breaks everything down to just bone. That's exactly how aquamation works. So there's no acid or pressure or anything like that. At the end of the process, all we're left with is your baby's bone remain. And that gets dried the same way that bone remain would be cooled after a fire cremation, and then it's returned home to families.
Oh, wow. Thank you for that. So what inspired you to start this?
Honestly, it came out of a need. I always say I didn't grow up hoping to be a pet cremator one day. It's something that I went through this with my doodle, Tiberius. He was 14 years old at the time, and he came through a really horrible liver poisoning case. And it just opened my eyes to what happens when our babies do pass away. For a lot of us, their care and their well-being is our priority. And what I found is, unfortunately, when our babies pass, they go from being family members to kind of being a waste stream, is the way the industry has really looked at it. And I really did not agree with that. And so while we were looking at alternatives for what we would do with Tiberius when he passed away, we came across Aquamation, and it just felt so much better. The thought of him going into a water cremation system, not impacting the environment with thousands of pounds of CO2 emissions, it just felt like the right way to go. He actually ended up living after that experience. And we had 2 more amazing years together. And so at 16, we did say goodbye. And Tiberius was aquamated. He was the first pet that we aquamated in our second aquamation machine, which in a way was very special.
Yeah. Wow. And I did go to your website. So Aqua Crossings, and you have information on the website. So we'll have the website up in the description. The amount of crap that goes into our Beep. Exactly. No, I think I'm far enough in, and I think that's a anyway. The amount of poison that goes into our air because of cremation is unreal.
Is it?
It is unreal. I had no idea, and that's what we know. I cremated my late husband. He sits next to the cremated pets and right next to his favorite television set, so he's happy.
We just cremated Hammer.
Hammer,
Mhm.
and it's what we know. It's
Yeah.
what we know. So tell us about how long has aquamation been around? I mean, other than the fact that it's what nature does, and how does one get the word out about this? This is very interesting.
So I'll say this, aquamation is not new. Aquamation has been around since the 1800s, believe it or not. Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
It was first developed as a way to safely dispose of animals that were used in laboratory settings for testings, particularly with radioisotopes. So, we're doing some experiments on animals, and what happens is we can't fire cremate them because those inputs could go into the air. We can't bury them because they'll get into the groundwater, and so aquamation is developed as a way to safely mitigate these subjects that we didn't know what would happen through cremation. And so we start to see it become more and more popular, particularly as animal agriculture starts to take off in like the 1950s. You
Right.
think about a cattle operation. If one cow was to get sick, you really have to contain that disease and make sure it doesn't spread to the rest of the operation.
Of course.
Aquamation is what's used. Fast forward to about 2010, it lands in its first human funeral home in Ohio. And currently, aquamation is being used for humans in about 28 states across the country, including Arizona. So Arizona did pass aquamation for humans, I want to say about a year ago. I don't think anyone has invested in the human systems to bring here, but we brought the pet system here. And it's just something where when people learn of aquamation, they think, I wish I would have known. I wish this was something that I could have done. I just didn't know it was a thing.
Right.
And so, we're really on a mission to educate folks about the benefits of aquamation and really just its gentler approach.
Can you talk a little bit more about this process? Like, what does that look like when someone brings their pet to you and they turn it over to you, and then how they come home? Do they come home? Yeah, can you explain that? Trying to picture. Yeah, thank you.
Yes. So when a pet parent reaches out to us, we will generally go to their home with the right equipment, think baskets, stretchers, blankets, the right tools that we need to bring their baby into our care in a respectful way. A lot of us have been there where, we discover our babies have passed away. We don't know what to do. We don't know where to take them. We don't know how to take them there, right? So we do a lot of home pickups. And then once our baby comes into our care, the first thing that we do is actually utilize a software tracker that is the same thing that's used in human cremation centers. And so a unique QR code is generated for every single pet. That QR code is scanned at every step of the process so that we can track where your baby is, from refrigeration to cremation to packaging to drying to ready to release home to the family. And then we also include a stainless steel tag that gets attached to your baby's paw, and it goes through the entire process with them and then goes home with you. So it's just a secondary level of assurance that this is your baby that's coming home with you. In terms of what comes home, so of course there are the remains. We also do some amazing keepsakes like paw prints, where you press your baby's paw into the clay and press their name into it. Fur clippings. We do a lot of ink prints for tattoos. And we also have a lot of unique requests. So I'm going to use the umbrella term of taxidermy. We have a lot of pet parents that want their baby skull returned home to them. It's something we say that, if it's not illegal, immoral, or unethical, the answer is yes, right? Like, we don't ever want to be holding judgment for folks who want to have a unique way of remembering their pet. We've seen things from ear preservations to tail preservations to fur preservations, a lot of unique things. And if it's not something we can offer through our taxidermist, we'll help the pet parent find someone who can give them that service and just memorialize their baby in a way that feels right to them.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, I love that. So I'm assuming there's probably some misconceptions about this process when people come to you.
There are. I would say there's two big words we really like to educate folks around not using or associating with aquamation. One is acid and the other is dissolve. A lot of times people, they go to Breaking Bad immediately. Their mind goes, oh, that must be what y'all are doing. And, we try to explain and educate that it really is mimicking that natural form of decomposition, right? There's no pressure. The water's not boiling. There's no acid. It really is a very gentle approach. And the other thing I will say too is, we do get the question, hey, I'll say you're this sustainable alternative, but we're using water in the desert. How is that something that works? And what I always educate around is anything we do for aftercare or in general uses resources. The footprint of a water cremation is so much smaller than that of a fire cremation. And a fire cremation is so much smaller than that of a burial, right? Over time, we are evolving. The industry is getting better and better. Right now, the best thing to do is aquamation. Who knows what it'll be in 20 or 30 years?
Right.
But it is something where the entire process does use only 200 gallons of water. And you think about how much water a family of 4 uses on an average daily basis.
Yeah.
It's much more than that.
Mhm.
You think about how much water runs through a car wash in 15 minutes. It's more than that. And so our water is totally sterile at the end of the process, and then it is returned back into the environment.
That was going to be my next question is the water usable, renewable when you're done? So I would say that's a big win.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, that's amazing.
So that water can be used, you say return back into the environment, but can that water be used to, for instance, water a vegetable garden or flowers, or is there something about it that it needs to sit in the ground for a certain amount of time?
It can absolutely be used as a fertilizer. It's something that is very nutrient rich, and it's not something that we offer at Aqua Crossings, but there are some centers around the country that will actually take their discharge and then use that as a fertilizer. So it's something we're looking at in the future, but for right now, our mission is really to get in touch with more pet parents and more veterinary clinics. A lot of folks, they go to their vet to say goodbye. And so being able to be there to support the clinic is something we're really big on as well.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Wonderful. Yeah. Yeah. Having had so many pets over the years, and just the different places that we've gone to say goodbye and the different ways that we've gone to say goodbye. For me, I was fortunate. My late husband was fortunate when our first 3 cats passed. Our friend is a veterinarian, so he was there. It was a family affair, if you will, and so he was there with us and did that. And when we said goodbye to Wiggin, my fiance's dog, we went to the, of all things, the emergency clinic, because that was the only place that was open. And it was the emergency clinic that my lovely little Digby had to go to because he swallowed a rock.
Corgis eat things.
Corgis eat things. And because they were so compassionate and wonderful with Digby, when it came time for Wiggin, they were very compassionate and wonderful and did all the right things. So yeah, it's something that we fur parents have to contend with all the time.
Yeah. And we've done several episodes on pet grief and how to kind of work through the process, some resources, some grief support groups and things. So I love that you're giving another avenue for this. And I want to talk about, so it sounds like you're full support as well from start of process to finish. Just can you tell me a little bit about what that looks like, how you honor the pets, how you support the families?
Grief support is a really big thing for us, both for pet parents and for vet staff. I mean, think about those staff members who are on the front lines of helping people through saying goodbye day in and day out. It can be very emotionally and physically draining.
Yeah.
And so we provide a lot of resources to both of those folks to just help through this process. We have a really robust grief support guide that has journaling prompts, workbook exercises, chapters to really work through, whether that be by yourself or with your family members, to help process what's happening, as well as some tools for members of veterinary clinics to be able to unplug and really reflect on the impact they're making on helping others.
Yeah.
We work with some animal communicators, as well as some grief support specialists. So if a family needs something extra and they call in saying, I really need more support than this grief guide might be able to give me, we can connect them with those folks and help them get more.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, thank you for doing that. And I feel like maybe if more people knew about this, we could normalize it a little bit more. Because to you, what you were saying is that we're used to the traditional cremation.
Yes.
It's become sort of just the steadfast. That's what's offered to you.
Right.
I feel like maybe 20, 30 years ago, you'd take them home and bury them in the backyard.
Oh, yeah.
And
That's my ex-husband and I buried Kelly in the backyard.
But now it's cremations that I've never even really been asked. I think I've had to go through the process, unfortunately, a few times, and I'm a masochist. I keep doing it. But I mean, every time, they ask, it's just okay, well, what do you want to put them in?
Yeah.
And then you have a few choices. So I love that this is an option and that we can educate people that this is an option.
Absolutely. I would ask the question that I think many of our listeners are asking. It is, not inexpensive to cremate your pet or your late husband. I have a weird sense of humor, everybody. How
it's just fact.
It's just fact.
Yeah. Just fact.
How does Aquamation compare as far as pricing goes?
Aquamation is very comparable in terms of price. In some cases, it can even be lower than a fire cremation because you think about all the inputs of all the gas and such.
Yeah.
I will say that at Aqua Crossings, we really pride ourselves on giving pet parents the most. And so we don't believe in returning anyone's babies home in plastic containers or Ziploc bags. We really elevate the experience. So we have beautiful paw prints, beautiful keepsakes, beautiful fur clippings with their baby's names beaded onto the jars. There's a lot of extra steps we take. I would say the cost for a private aquamation is about $300.
Okay.
So it's something that is pretty comparable and in line with what you'd expect at either the vet clinic or with a fire crematory.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah, that's an affordable option.
That is an affordable option and an environmentally better option.
So how would we do this if we were to contact you and unfortunately find ourselves at the vet where we have to make that choice? Sometimes we plan it out. So for Hammer, he had degenerative myelopathy. We were on borrowed time. We had to make that choice in a certain window before the disease took him, because that's not a fun way to go. And I didn't want to see him do that. So I had to make the choice. I had time to actually plan it. And some of us have that. But sometimes I had a little girl named Zelda, and she got sick one weekend, was in the ER vet and didn't come home. So that would be an example of, unfortunately, this is a reality. It's one that we never want to face and we hope we don't. But when it does happen, if we find ourselves in a situation where we're at our vet and we've had to make the choice, or it's time to come home without them, how do we contact you? How do we do that process if we're working with our veterinarian?
So you can absolutely give us a call. We go to the vet clinic and pick your baby up from the hospital. You would just ask the vet to hold your baby instead of sending them for fire cremation. Let them know you have your own arrangements. And it's something that a lot of folks are very understanding of, right? Because just because the vet may only know about fire cremation and that's the system that's set up in the clinic, doesn't mean that they're not going to respect what you'd like as a pet parent. And then we go to the hospital, we pick your baby up, and then we do the aquamation process and have their remains ready to come home to you. Alternatively, you can call us. We do schedule a lot of at-home euthanasia for our pet parents. I'll tell you, it's very challenging to make a bunch of phone calls and ask, hello, do you live in the area that I live in? I need your help with an at-home euthanasia. Hello, does your schedule align with my schedule? I need your help with an at-home euthanasia.
Yeah.
Hello, can you take my pet with you? I mean, it's just...
Yeah, I just did it.
Yep.
2 months ago. Yeah.
It's like to play, I don't want, say travel agent, but to do all that, right? In your final moments, we want pet parents to spend those moments with their babies, making the best memories ever. We make those calls. We coordinate everything. We have providers on our team that will come to your home. Whatever the doctor charges for euthanasia, we pass that cost along directly to the family. There's no markup there at all. It's just our way of helping ensure pet parents are going to have a positive experience through that when you think of the process.
That is so amazing. With Wigan, we called and called and called, and then we just took him into the emergency clinic, and it was no more expensive than any place else. And there was a cremation place that I had found when I came home, and Matthew, you and I talked about this when I came home, and my cat had passed, and I found a cremation place, and we brought Wigan there, and it was very caring, very compassionate. I think people in this industry in general are very caring and compassionate, and so could I have called you up and said, we're taking our Wigan to say goodbye, or I came home and my cat is gone. Do we call you at that point?
Absolutely. You can give us a call, and we'll come to your home to help. This is my cat, Larry, who just wanted to come say hello. This is my Corgi cat.
If you are listening and not viewing, if you head over to our YouTube page, you can see Matthew's cute little kitty on camera.
Yeah.
Yes. But yes, you absolutely can give us a call. We do answer the phones 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Wow.
It doesn't mean that we can be at your home 24 hours a day, but we at least can help provide support on what to do until the morning, or when we can get someone to help. Pets don't pass away Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, right?
Exactly.
The pet parents need our help at all hours, and we try to be there for them throughout this. And that's really it. Just changing the level of compassion and availability and understanding that pet parents need as they go through this process is very big for us.
Of course.
Well, we thank you for doing it. And you're local to Arizona only, or what's the footprint?
Yes, so we service the state of Arizona. We are based in Tempe, and that's where our center is. And then we just help pet parents and vet clinics when they call in asking for support. We've also had a lot of people mail their pets to us. Again,
Wow.
I know this can be a lot, but some folks really want to have the skull preservation option, and we're one of the only aftercare centers in the country that offers that. So they will mail their pet to us for skull preservation, as well as the private aquamation. And then there's examples of what the skull preservation looks like on the website.
Yeah, and it's not something I would do. And it is beautifully done.
Pretty personal decision.
It's a personal decision, and it is beautifully done. Really, really beautifully done. I went to the website.
Yeah, that's amazing. Well, thank you for doing this work, and thank you for educating us about it. I love it. I love to have options, especially environmentally friendlier options that are affordable and done with compassion.
Absolutely.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. It was my pleasure coming and chatting with you both. If you ever need anything, we're always here to help, and feel free to check us out on the website at aquacrossings.com.
And I will drop that website into the description box of both the video on YouTube as well as our audio platforms if you listen through an app or online. Matthew, thank you so much. We hope you have a great rest of your evening.
Thank you. You guys take care. Bye-bye.
You
too.
Bye.
Bye.
And bye, Larry.
Bye, Larry. That is, it's something we pet parents have to deal with. And when I heard about it, I was totally amazed.
Yeah, I had no idea this existed.
Neither did I.
To Matthew, so I'm glad you found him.
Yeah. Well, I can, shout out to Jonathan Bengal for, for posting up on Facebook, doing some more networking. And I went,
oh, I know that guy.
Oh yeah. I went, Jonathan, you need to introduce me. We need him on the show. And here he was. So thank you.
Well, again, the website will be down in the description box. Please check them out. If you're not local to Arizona, give them a call. Let them see find out what the options are. It sounds like if you do like the idea of skull preservation, that's something they can do. It sounds like mail is involved. So if you have further questions and you're not local to Arizona, please give them a call. Again, I will put that website down into the description box. A little bit different from our normal episodes, but we like to bring you this information that you might not have had normally.
Absolutely, yeah.
We're here for you every Thursday. All things pet, corgi, parent lifestyle. Candy, Chuckles, Mortimer, Booger, Indy, Digby,
Catherine. My goodness, we have quite the crowd here.
We do. It's a happy life, though.
It's a happy life.
We'll see you next week.
Bye.